Welcome to the College Recruiter webinar series. The subject of today's discussion will be on the 4 steps to using social media for uncovering the hidden job market. My name is Andrea McEwen Henderson, and I will be your host today. I am one of the national account managers with College Recruiter. I have a dozen years of experience in helping large and small employers reach recent college graduates and students. My primary responsibilities are facilitating our webinars, moderating the discussions at our college recruiting bootcamp conferences, as well as working with small to mid-sized employers on their entry-level hiring needs. College Recruiter is the highest traffic college job board with 150,000 unique monthly visitors. We help employers reach recent graduates and students of 1, 2, and 4-year colleges and graduate schools. We have permission to deliver emails on behalf of our employer clients, the 7 million recent graduates and 10 million students, and we can also target them by major, school, year of graduation, diversity, and more. Our other solutions for employers include job postings, targeted mobile banner ads, targeted display ads, virtual career fairs, and custom research projects. For more information about College Recruiter, you can reach us at www.collegerecruiter.com/contact or 952-848-2211. Today's guest is Joshua Waldman, President of Career Enlightenment. Joshua is an authority on leveraging social media to find employment. He is the author of Job Searching with Social Media for Dummies, and his writing has appeared in Forbes, Huffington Post, Mashable, and the International Business Times. Joshua's career blog, CareerEnlightenment.com, won the About.com Reader Choices Award for Best Career Blog in 2013. Joshua offers LinkedIn writing services and free job-seeking tools at CareerEnlightenment.com. So Joshua, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Andrea. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So I have a number of questions for you. So let's get started.
All right.
So the first one is, why do I need or anyone need an online presence to find a job?
Well, it's not the 1990s anymore where having access to a job board was kind of an exciting new thing. And probably a lot of people listening to this call right now are going to have experienced some kind of digital research that either they've done or have done for others before they met them. Maybe it was a professor you've Googled, or maybe your name has been Googled and that's come up in conversation. In fact, statistics are showing that something like 80% of employers are Googling candidates before that interview because we just want to know more about people. You know, we can call it stalking or whatever, but really, I mean, it's just the way it is. Before you walk into a meeting, chances are you're going to be looked up online. And so it's rather important, I think, as we're graduating from college, that we spend a little bit of time making sure that when people do Google us, it's going to look okay. And so taking some steps to mitigate that is probably pretty important.
Totally agree. Actually, I couldn't agree more. So how do I create a personal brand to market myself?
Well, the personal brand is the first step, right? So a lot of times we'll take a LinkedIn class or a job search class, and they'll give you great tips about, look, LinkedIn can do this. You have a great headline, and then the question is, well, what do I actually say? What do I say about myself in a way that's compelling to employers about the value that I can add to them? And that's the hard part, and that's often skipped. And the truth is, if you spend even just an hour thinking about your brand, your message, who you are, and the value you think you can provide to your audience, you're going to be far ahead of everyone else who's looking for a job. So personal branding, I think, even before you start learning the technologies that are out there, and there are incredible technologies that can help us, we got to know what to say about ourselves, and that's where personal branding is going to come in. And that's really the first step. We talked about the 4 steps, right, in the title of this video of uncovering that hidden job market. You got to know your message, and so I think there's really 2 aspects to this: knowing who you are, right, your values, and then understanding the needs of your audience. And when you get those 2 things overlapping, you've got a strong message, and that's something you can take to the world.
So what is the benefit of LinkedIn if I'm already using a resume and I have one?
So it's a great question because a lot of people think they can copy and paste their resume to their LinkedIn profile, and there's several reasons why this isn't really a good idea. Mostly, I think that the context is very different. If you've read Marshall McLuhan's amazing book published in the late '60s called "The Medium is the Message," he said that media, and I'm not quoting, but essentially media is some extension of our psychic experience, right? When we put a record on a player, it's an extension of our ears. When we get in a car, those tires become an extension of our feet. And so in that vein, also, where you find yourself online is an extension of our personality. And so the medium informs how we talk about that message. A resume was developed for a piece of paper. It's usually read either printed out or in Microsoft Word or in a context that's very isolated. Whereas LinkedIn is a visual social network, right? And so we're scanning it. It's a lot faster of a reading experience. And so white space and formatting have different meanings. Also, keywords become different in that there's areas in a LinkedIn profile that need certain keywords. And the second reason why this is a very different medium than a resume is that the context is different. Your resume is seen after you apply for a job. You apply, you attach that resume, it becomes sort of a virtual voodoo doll of your applicancy. LinkedIn is a little bit different because you're going to be sourced with LinkedIn before you even apply. That recruiter, in-house or external, is going to look at that profile and think whether or not they even want to invite you into that opportunity. So it's way more upstream. And then also it occurs downstream, perhaps after you've applied for a job. They're going to check up on you to see if you have recommendations, how big your network is, and so forth. So LinkedIn is a tool that sandwiches the resume. So the context is different, the medium is different. It is not your online resume, and it's really important not to just copy and paste.
Wow. Okay. You gave me some insight there. Thank you, Joshua. All right. So how can Twitter and Facebook help in my job hunt?
So these are all tools, right? Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, these are all just tools to help you network better, more effectively. At the end of the day, it's just about being a better networker. And so really, how does that tool help you meet new people, start new conversations, get research so you can be more relevant in your messaging, right? So finding a specific list of, step one is find that specific list of companies you're interested in. Well, Twitter can be a great way to do that. So can Facebook. You can go onto Facebook and see where your friends are working, right? And in that context, you can start to build that list of target organizations to go for. You can do that with LinkedIn as well. Build that top 10 list of companies you're interested in. Step one. So all of these tools can reinforce that first step of just doing that research of where do I even want to work, right? If you're not targeted and focused, man, that job search is going to feel very, very overwhelming. So get that top 10 list. The second step you really want to use these tools for is identifying the need. So what's the conversation that you're entering into? Twitter is a great way to see what that organization you're targeting is even talking about, right? So go and find that company on Twitter. Maybe they even have a separate recruiting stream on Twitter. What are they talking about? What values do they seem to exemplify? What new products are coming out, and so forth. And so as you educate yourself about the words used by those organizations, you're going to be able to adopt those words when you talk to them. The third step is to actually reach out for information interviews, right? And that's where these tools can also be incredibly helpful. LinkedIn is a powerful tool. If you go to linkedin.com/alumni, you will see a list of all of the alumni who graduated from your school and what degree they graduated in. You can filter by where they're working now, what skills they have, what role they have in the organization, and you can even see what companies they're working in. And then from there, it's so easy just to send a little note to them and say, look, hey, I also graduated from Lewis and Clark University, Lewis and Clark College a couple years ago in psychology, and I see that you're doing something really cool in marketing. Could I talk to you for 15 minutes about your career path? That's something that alumni is more likely to agree to. So this information interviewing is very, very powerful to do that. Facebook is another tool to help you find other alumni or other people in industry who might be open to talking to you.
Great tips. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to share this myself. Okay. So now, is it possible to get a lead on a job before the position is even listed? And you've kind of alluded that, to that in this conversation.
Yeah, that's kind of the essence of the hidden job market, right? By the time jobs are posted, um, one of several things have already happened. One, uh, that job that's been posted publicly has already been internally posted. Okay, so a lot of organizations prefer to hire from within. You've probably heard this before.
Absolutely.
And so before they go out, they're going to go in. And by the time it's already publicly on a job board, they've already asked around inside. So there probably are some choice internal candidates that you're competing against. Also, hiring managers tend to use their referral network to try to get referrals into positions. Statistically, referrals into jobs last longer, are more successful. And so it's a good hiring practice. It's a best practice to ask for referrals into job opportunities rather than to just sift through 350 random resumes and use keywords to try to nail that down. So the hidden job market is a way of having conversations with people about opportunities that may not have even arisen yet publicly. And this increases your odds quite significantly. And actually, the majority of available jobs in this, at least in this country, are not even listed on job boards. And we're talking millions of jobs on job boards. There's probably 3 times that many that are not even listed. So there's a larger opportunity here to simply network, have conversations, demonstrate your value, and you'll be seriously surprised how many opportunities start falling on your plate.
Very interesting. So now, can blogging help me find a job? Can I blog?
Blogging is a good way to reinforce that personal brand, right? And so, I'll give you a really great example of how blogging can help. During the recession a couple of years ago, there was a designer in Savannah, Georgia, named Hal Thomas, who applied for a job. He had been blogging about design and his views of project management and his sense of aesthetics and so forth, and also sharing his work for 2 years on his personal blog. And by having that there, the hiring manager saw that he was very, very serious about his career. He wasn't just trying to get a job. This is his life. He is a passionate designer. And it was a lot easier for her to hire him because he had 2 years of writing experience around this topic. So if you want to demonstrate motivation, there's no better tool than getting on a blog and starting it and being consistent. 80-90% of blogs are left dormant and abandoned within the first 3 months. So you've got to be committed. And if you show that commitment, hiring managers will eat that up.
Now that's a new way to think about blogging. Okay. I'm liking this, Joshua. This is good. So how do I stay up to date with all the things and changes that's going on in social media?
Social media does change a lot. And if we get wrapped up in the minutia of the features of LinkedIn, or the way Facebook looks, because they're always changing the way it looks and what you can do with it or not, it can feel like you're just on a sinking ship and you're just paying more attention to technology than you are helping your career. And I get that. So I think that if you focus on the fact that you're networking, these 4 steps that we talked about, then use the tools that support that step rather than having the tool and using it just because it's there. So the focus becomes a shift towards your strategy. So to review those 4 steps again: 1, build that top 10 list of organizations you're interested in. You can use the social media tools to do that. no matter what they look like, and they will change. Step two was to understand the needs, the goals, the challenges of those organizations. Again, social media tools, no matter what it is, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you're going to be able to see and spy on those conversations so that you're better informed. Step three was having those informational interviews. And again, you can use social media tools like Twitter. You can send direct messages to folks to ask for their time. You can go on Facebook. You can use Facebook to ask for referrals into organizations. And absolutely, LinkedIn is a great way to make those connections. That fourth step that we haven't talked about yet is actually talking with a decision maker. And this is where, these social media tools, no matter how they change, are going to facilitate conversation. And whether you click over here to do that or you click over there to do that, it, in the end of the day, doesn't matter. As long as you're starting those conversations, bringing them offline to a phone call, to playing golf together, sharing a cup of coffee. You know what? I live in Portland. Sometimes it's a bike ride or going for a walk by the river. When you have those conversations with decision makers, things start to happen. And I'll give you another quick example of this. I graduated from Brown University, and I went to an alumni event, and there was this guy. He had just graduated, and he didn't know what to do with his life. And we were just chatting at this barbecue, and I gave him this advice that we just talked about. And so he goes down to San Francisco. He starts to network. He starts to understand the kinds of companies he wants to work for. And he just sets up a meeting with someone who was a friend of a friend. And they start to have their coffee. And he said to me, I went to visit him in San Francisco a few months after we had spoken. And he said to me, look, there was a point in that conversation where it shifted from casual networking to a job interview. He said, I felt it, right? All of a sudden, she's asking me the very pointed questions about my experience and what I'm interested in and what I want out of my career and so forth. She turns out to be his new boss. You don't know what's going to happen when you start having conversations.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Always heard lots of deals take place on a golf course. So, what
Too bad I don't play golf.
You don't play, neither do I. Neither do I. So, anyway, what if I get Googled? What happens then? Can I manage my online reputation, and how do I do that?
Yeah, you are going to get Googled. And the question is, what are they going to find? The knee-jerk reaction to that knowledge is kind of freaking out, right? It's, I'm going to turn off my computer. And I had one guy come up to me after I gave a speech, and he wanted to send a letter to Larry Page, the CEO of Google, and complain that he didn't like his first page results. Like, that's not his job. That's your job, And if you can't manage your online reputation, you're in deep trouble in today's marketplace, in today's career center, right? So the way to do this is not to run away from your reputation. You have it whether you're paying attention to it or not. The way to do this is to start publishing more of the types of content you want other people to read about you. And that could be presentations you've done for class. You can go on SlideShare and put those presentations online, put your name on those slides. It becomes associated with your name and will show up in search results. Video of you presenting, for example, photographs of you in a professional setting. Those can be part of your Google search results. Articles you've written, so papers you've written, white papers, research papers, all of those can be shared and put online. Associated with your name starts to take up real estate on that Google search results page.
Makes sense. Makes lots of sense. So, do you see a difference between age groups when it comes to using social media for the job search?
Only in attitude, right? I think that's, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm kind of right snap dab in the middle between the boomers and the millennials. And so my generation kind of has the best of both worlds. But I see that baby boomers tend to have a little bit more anxiety when it comes to the technology side of these things. Whereas millennials don't have that anxiety. They were raised on Facebook and maybe had their first email argument when they were 13 or something. But they don't have the professionalism yet. They don't have the experience yet that a baby boomer might have. So there's sort of a spectrum here, and I think that everyone has their challenges with these tools in the modern job search. But if a baby boomer can realize that their gift is the professionalism, their ability to network, those things they've already been doing well, simply applied to a digital landscape, doesn't need a big shift. It just needs new ways of engaging, of clicking, and those skills can be very easily acquired. There's hundreds of thousands of YouTube videos showing you how to do things on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and as long as you apply that strategy, it can be done. For millennials, the biggest risk is, of course, privacy and that digital footprint. So you're just coming out of college or even high school and not thinking about how that's going to look to a potential employer. So now the mindset shifts into, my career is starting. Oh, that Halloween picture is not very useful. How do I deal with that past? And so professionalism becomes probably the main focus for millennials, for those of a younger generation. How do I ask? How do I feel like I have the right to ask for a meeting? This is the biggest thing. I speak in colleges all over the country and the world, actually, and the biggest objection I get, or concern, is that, look, I'm just graduating. I don't have that much experience. What right do I have to contact somebody in an executive position or a decision-making position on LinkedIn and asking them for the time? There's a fear around that, and I think that if a millennial or college student, recent grad, would just give themselves permission to have that conversation and say, look, you have the right to ask. They have the right to say no, but you have the right to ask for their time. Then you're going to go a lot farther than those who are just going on job boards and apply. You're going to have the conversations that are going to lead to uncovering that hidden job market because you asked for it.
Great tips, Joshua. Well, I'm going to tell you now in advance, would love for you to come back and really kind of go more in depth with some of the things that you discussed with us today. So again, thank you for joining us as we discuss the 4 steps to using social media for uncovering the hidden job market.